Top 10 places to visit in the US. As one of the largest countries in the entire world, the US can boast of a geographical diversity that few other nations can match. And it's hard, almost unfair, to name the most beautiful states in the US, as each of them has its fair share of natural beauty added to the manufactured construction of each of its particular character. Welcome back to another episode of Travel Champ, the home of all things travel on YouTube. We're passionate about exploring mind-blowing and fascinating places all over the world and love to share our knowledge with you. Subscribe to the channel now so you never miss out on any of our latest and greatest uploads. And come and join us on our journey. In this video, we'll be talking about the top 10 places to visit in the US. Let's begin today's video. Number 10, Illinois. The state of Illinois moves us to the Midwest, and its major city, Chicago, is one of the most beautiful cities in all of America. You can go to Wrigley Field and check out the historic Chicago Cubs, or take a walk downtown and be mesmerized by the skyscrapers that create the city's skyline. Once you've visited the house that Michael Jordan built and hunger strikes, you can see any number of great restaurants and try a famous deep dish Chicago-style pizza for yourself. It's truly a one-of-a-kind experience. Number 9, Texas. You can't mess with Texas. Texas is the most significant state in the United States, so obviously some things are worth visiting. The state has traditionally been very conservative, but recently large cities like Austin have made the Lone Star State more liberal. Texas is big, as well as the food, the nightlife, and especially the football. High school football teams in Texas routinely draw thousands of fans, if not tens of thousands. The state has a unique culture dating back to its history as part of Mexico and its own fantastic country. As a foreigner, whether you like the game or not, it's something to experience without a doubt. Number 8, Pennsylvania. We understand that Pennsylvania may not be a typical tourist destination, but for starters, the state has a history so rich that it can only be compared to a few other states in the country. Pennsylvania is home to the Three Rivers in Pittsburgh and the city of brotherly love, otherwise known as Philadelphia. In contrast, Pittsburgh has adopted a blue-collar attitude from its industrial past that combines uniquely with its young population. Pennsylvania also features the stairs that Rocky Balboa once ran up, and also played host to the Liberty Bell and the culinary delight known as the Philly cheesesteak sandwich, both staples of the city that people love whether they are foreign visitors or locals for that matter. What also makes Pennsylvania highly visited is the shopping, although that's thanks to many Canadians from just north of the border. Number 7, Florida. Florida has come a long way from the swamplands that the earliest settlers found, but if you feel the need to return to that world, there are several projects to reinvigorate the Florida Everglades. Also known as the Sunshine State, Florida is an alluring mix of gorgeous beaches, balmy weather, and a nice mellow Latin vibe. Home to mysterious wetlands, spectacular coral reefs, and the largest subtropical wilderness in the country, it's an absolute paradise for adventurers and nature lovers. Also add in some of the glitz and glamour of Miami and the magic of Orlando's Walt Disney World and the Spanish colonial architecture of St. Augustine, and you have one of the most beautiful and diverse states of the United States of America. Number 6, Alaska. Alaska calls itself the final frontier, a fitting name for a state separated from the continental United States by thousands of miles of the Canadian wilderness. The beauty of the 49th state lies in the splendour of its terrain, which includes rainforests, valleys, vast Arctic tundra, and the highest peak in North America, Mount McKinley. Anchorage is a standard city destination, but anywhere in the state is a wild and unique experience. Grandiose, snow-covered mountains, dramatic fjords, aquamarine glaciers, and pure, untouched wilderness stretches to infinity. Alaska is like nowhere else in the United States. Number 5, Colorado. Home to charming ski resorts, lively cities, historical towns, and wildlife sanctuaries, Colorado always makes the list of America's most beautiful states. Whenever this place comes to mind, Colorado brings to mind images of snow-capped peaks and epic skiing. Still, there are also glistening lakes, spectacular mountain drives and towering sand dunes. Between the heights of the splendid Rocky Mountains and the deep canyons engraved by the Colorado River lies a world of its own that begs to be explored. Number 4. Nevada. There is of course one major city worth visiting in the state of Nevada, but we'll get into that in a bit. Nevada happens to have miles of deserts and canyons that make up some of the most beautiful landscapes in the entire United States. Building off its reputation as Sin City, Vegas has become one of the most significant entertainment hubs in the United States. This glittering city of lights in the desert holds a unique appeal that one has been attracting visitors for decades. Aside from the casinos and bars, Vegas has hundreds of venues that bring in some of the best acts in the world. Vegas recently capitalised on its popularity and brought in both an NHL Knights and NFL Raiders franchise. Number 3. Hawaii. This is probably the most obvious destination on our entire list today. The Hawaiian Islands are not only one of the most iconic destinations in the United States, and they are one of the most beautiful tourist attractions in the entire world. As Hawaiian natives run out of land, it will be up to their government to ensure that the islands remain a vibrant tourist destination. It would be a shame to squander the natural advantages that this state has. We all dream of someday being able to put on a lei with a margarita in our hands while being greeted by a beautiful group of locals. For that reason, Hawaii will always be one of the most breathtaking, intriguing and unique places to visit in all of America. Hawaii is also one of the best surfing spots in the world. There's something about the sound of a ukulele that just spells relief and relaxation to people who hop on board a plane to visit Honolulu, Maui or any of the other islands in Hawaii for that matter. Number 2. California. With a lovely, laid-back attitude, a divine Mediterranean climate and a distinctive, colourful culture all of its own, California is hands down one of the best states to visit. The scenery shifts spectacularly from the south to the north, and its cities and towns range from quaint to artsy to downright fabulous. The city has always been associated with glamour, with the suburbs of Hollywood, Beverly Hills and Bel Air dominating pop culture. Hollywood is a must for movie lovers, families come to experience nearby Disneyland, and shoppers will find what they're looking for in the Los Angeles area. No other place in the nation inspires such a sense of wanderlust quite like the Golden State. Whether your California dreams involve driving the Big Sur coastline, surfing in Malibu, watching the sunset over the Golden Gate Bridge, hiking in the Yosemite National Park, or wine tasting in Sonoma, you're in for a real treat. Also, if you're looking for a bit of sand and surf, head to one of the many beaches around LA. For an enjoyable natural history experience, be sure to visit La Brea tar pits to see fossil remains of prehistoric animals that roamed this area 40,000 years ago. Natural jewels such as the Sierra Nevada mountains, the Mojave Desert, Sequoia National Park or magical Mount Shasta make the most populous state in the United States an adventurer's wonderland. At the same time, unique destinations like Disneyland and Hollywood add to its staggering diversity. Number 1. Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is the US capital and home to some of America's most famous sites and national treasures, from the White House to the Capitol Building to the Smithsonian Museums. There is just something about Washington, D.C. that stirs up images of settlers establishing themselves on the rugged frontier. This city should be on everyone's itinerary of the East Coast. Well, that brings us to the end of today's video, all about the top 10 places to visit in the United States. If you ever get a chance, which state would you want to visit from the US? Get involved and let us know in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this episode and found it interesting, subscribe to Travel Champ so you never miss out on any of our latest and greatest uploads. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.